percolating. He working you while we happy just to work a day. But I'ma slap him till my blood starts circulating. Do your checks have elasticity? Did they cut off your electricity? Did you scream and yell explicitly? Force the boss into complicity. I'm a white chalk stencil, but I push a pencil. Rolling dope fiend rentals, leave you residential. Broke as fuck eating lentils with no utensil. Finna teach pimp class with a hoe credential. They own sweatshops, pet cops, and fields of cola. Murder babies with their molars on the areola. Control the Pope, Dalai Lama, holy rollers, and the Ayatollah. Bump this rolling in your bucket or your new Corolla. Or you might catch me on the scenic route with my penis out, yelling twines for the executives with the meanest mouth. Wanna know what this demeanor's about? City try to clean us out. Green as cloud, shut them down. I ain't never seen a drought. Interview, but they ain't calling you back. For the record, I ain't called it a gap. But tuck this in the small of your back. Wait in the bathroom stall till I tap. You got 5 million ways to kill a CEO. Slap him up and shake him up and then you know. Let him off the floor, then bait him with the dough. You can do it funk or do it disco. Yeah, this go. 5 million ways to kill a CEO.
RaiderFan Radio, baby. Happy New Year. Let it go down. It goes down, yes. Thumbing our noses at all of you. But hey, in all good fun. Because the New Year is kicking off, baby. You should be dancing.
Happy New Year! I'm personally an April Fool, so I don't know nothing about this.
No. Well, you should be dancing because the season's over. We broke even, Las Vegas style. We broke even at the table. All right, of the NFL.
We broke even.
And there's a lot to look forward next year, so we'll get to that. But it is Raider Rob, the Beautiful Black Hole Stef, and of course the stoned one, StonerDude, hanging out with you again on another
number 420
show.
In case anybody's asking.
Yeah, number 420 for real in all your local listings. All right, it is show 14. And it is the end of the season for the Oakland
14.
Raiders.
I remember when I was 14.
Do you?
Those were some of the best years of my life. I can be 14 forever.
I got to know myself real well.
You figured it out?
Yeah. Oh, I figured it out. I thumbed it out. But anyway, it's good to be here. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share below. Make sure you also comment and hit us at RaiderFanRadio@gmail with all your New Year's salutations, promises to yourself. What is that other shit called? Resolutions. You know,
and of course, if you can contact us anytime you want at our email, RaiderFanRadio@gmail.com.
So I'm dancing to the fact that I'm glad this season is over.
Yeah.
Like I said, man, this has been like a Twilight Zone-ish type. Yeah, season, as we said on the last show.
As much as I hated to say this last week, I'm almost glad we didn't make it to the playoffs or anything like that this year. And it's not because obviously I wanted the Raiders to do bad. Of course I want to win every game.
Playoffs?
But imagine this. This would have been the worst Twilight Zone scenario ever. If the Raiders would have went to the playoffs in the Super Bowl with no fans in the stands and not able to go party and have a parade down that strip. So that to me would be a complete real Raiders season.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens this next year coming up, 2021. Everyone says it's going to be great now, and the pandemic will be over. We'll see about that.
As we say in the funk world that I am a citizen of, okay, on the one in 21. Got to get back on the one. And of course, all years start off with number one. Everything starts off with number one. So officially, this is the first year.
This is the first year. Last year didn't count.
This next decade.
Right.
So that's what's up. Yeah, we got a lot coming for you.
Of it all.
In a moment, the trade of the decade. The trade of the decade. And of course, y'all know I be calling it. If I call it again, one of my greatest calls ever, it will be the trade of the decade. And we will have a player of the decades as a Las Vegas Raider.
Right.
And we have a special guest in studio tonight.
Yes.
You'll find out who, but it's a secret for now. Don't tell anybody.
All right.
But it's very special, and it might be the what a way to start off the year too.
One of the superheroes of the Oakland RaiderNation.
Right.
Okay.
They say how you start the year is how you'll finish it. So looking forward to seeing what comes with
This
that.
is like Clark Kent dropping into your baby shower. Okay? This is like Tony Stark coming to your bar mitzvah. This guy for the Raider Nation.
Nice.
So stay tuned. This is like Peter Parker crashing your barbecue. Okay, you don't know what's coming, but it's coming.
Now, before we break down the Raiders, before we break down the season, before we break down the big game that we had today against the Denver Broncos in Denver at Mile High, we would like to dedicate tonight's show, as we always dedicate. We respect the dead. We have many great fond memories of the dead that we've lost, especially this past year. It's been what a year. Neil Peart from Rush, Kobe Bryant, Eddie Van Halen. Oh my God! Right. And 2020 did not disappoint.
Yeah,
2020 did
it did disappoint.
It went out with a bang. When I say it didn't disappoint, it made sure it went all the way to the 11th hour.
Right, taking folks out.
Yeah, 2020 was 100% all the way to the end. And unfortunately,
well, hold on, because I'm feeling a little remiss that in all of this, and I think this is a good time to do it, and I apologize personally because it has been in the back of my mind. We have not given the ultimate dedication, and that's the dedication to the hundreds and thousands of fellow Americans who did lose their lives this past year, including Raiden Gonzalez, a young 4-year-old who lost his 2 parents that we honored here on Raider Fan Radio, but all of you, the families and friends who lost loved ones to COVID-19 and the coronavirus. That dedication would go on infinitely because there are so many of you who lost your loves tragically. And so, through it all, despite our more specific dedications, I'd like to say personally, I dedicate, just what's coming this year in positivity and happiness and fortune to hopefully fall on you, these families that have lost so many loved ones this past year to this deadly virus that we had afflict our country this year and the world,
Eloquently said, Raider Rob. Eloquently said.
Brought to you by Andre.
And of course, I will. I would be remiss if before I didn't do tonight's dedication. Of course, remember the memory of one Ricky Ricardo over at Ricky's in San Leandro, who is a big part, a huge integral part of Raider Fan Radio, the history of Raider Fan Radio, what we do, what we've been doing, and a supporter of the show. But tonight, I go back to my childhood in the Wayback Machine. I remember being a very young child, maybe the age of 3, maybe 4, and seeing Gilligan's Island. At least, I was in syndication back then, so you probably saw it about 7-8 times a day. And we lost one of my favorites, one of my personal favorites, Dawn Wells. That's Marianne from Gilligan's Island. 82 years old. Or young, however you look at it.
Wow.
But man, when I think of Dawn Wells, and I do quite often, back on all the years, of having Dawn Wells in my life, I was very stoked. About 10 years ago or so, I found her on Facebook. I stalked her on Facebook. I found her and made her my friend. And so I've been following her now in her later years. And she's still got that cute, beautiful, happy, kind of personality all the way to the end. Wow. Still looking very young for her age. But, looking back the early days, that first time you see Ginger and Marianne on Gilligan's Island as a young child, it pretty much stirred my loins. I knew where StonerDude knew where he was going for the rest of his life from that point on.
I knew my mission.
That was my go-to in my Rolodex. You know what I'm saying? It was I Dream of Jeannie, Barbara Ian, Ginger and Marianne, of course. The first one for me was Raquel Welch in the 100 Million.
Now, we need to tell people what we're talking about here, particularly in the community of the white male. Back in that time, the generation.
Was it only white males?
Well, I will admit to some things. Ginger and Marianne were the first, shall we say, observational visuals that one would use for self-pleasure. From the TV generation that we grew up in, which it was just starting to get, color TV was coming out and TV was just starting to get much more broader and a lot of different diversity on TV. But sitcoms were always popular, and Gilligan's Island was one of the most played shows, favorite shows of all of us from our generation, and the whole thing of how they could be lost on a 3-hour tour on this damn island, but they got to change their clothes every day. All that type of shit played a role.
They brought plenty of luggage.
Right,
but Ginger and Dawn Wells were the epitome and the book ending of the sultry starlet because that's who Tina Louise played.
She was the
Ginger.
Marilyn Monroe character.
And then Dawn Wells was the quintessential girl next door, the girl that's
country girl.
Yes, liberated though. Liberated, smart.
She was smart, working with the professor.
You know, and these were all themes that were starting to emerge during the counterculture generation of the late 60s, mid to late 60s. Flower Child generation also comes out of that. So it was very liberating for women to be sexy, but also to be smart.
And of course, she wore those painted-on short shorts.
She had a nice
Before the Daisy Dukes was Mary Ann.
She had a nice tookus.
There is so many underlying subliminal sexual messages.
Gilligan's Island.
God, I fantasized about Ginger and Mary Ann. That's like their package deal. You know,
so you fantasized about
together,
being with both of them at the same time.
Yeah, even as a 4-year-old,
you put them in positions like little dolls and stuff in your mind.
I imagine I'm on the island. I get rid of the skipper. I get rid of Gilligan. I get rid of the professor. I get rid of Mr. Howard. Even though he's no threat.
So are these people murdered, or they just somehow?
I get rid of them, and that's what I'm doing. That's my word. I'm sticking to it. Yeah, and it's just me and Ginger and Mary Ann forever on that island. But yeah, anyway, so we're really sorry to see Mary Ann go.
Yes.
But again, she made it to 82.
Yes.
Now I'll say there's a little controversy and conspiracy with this. You can help me with that, with this, Steph. Because they say, and when I say they say that she died of COVID-related something.
That's what they're saying. Everybody died from. So, I mean, that's not really... It's... You make money now if you say that somebody died from COVID. I mean, it's extra money because that is a branded entity. That is something that is copyrighted.
It's the new thing. Everybody's doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you look at that, it's just like there's so many people now. They're even, Darth Vader. We dedicated the show to him a few weeks ago. David Prowse. He died of COVID. I wonder if everybody is.
I would like to say for the record.
I wonder if everybody is.
I'd like to say for the record that I'm a little bit disappointed that they had to tag her with that at the end because a little, I guess, for me, unrespectable, a little undignified. I think they kind of used her for that. Mm-hmm. But hey, I will always remember Mary Ann for the good thoughts, the good memories. And thank you so much for being in our lives. Yeah. And we'll see you on the other side. Yes, on the island on the other side.
The island on the left
side. Then I'll get my fantasy.
That's
which is me and Ginger Mary Ann forever and ever and ever. And
so
ever.
Selma Hayek's out the window, huh?
No, she's going to catch up later. Selma Hayek will catch up later.
So is Ginger already dead?
No, Tina Louise still
She's the last. She's the last of the Mohicans.
Wow.
And Dawn Wells, of course, became very popular in the 90s and into the 2000s for doing the celebrity card appearance shows, where celebrities show up at conventions and they sign autographs for, their shows and different characters that have been part of the TV culture for the last 30, 40 years. Found an industry, a second industry, as going out as themselves and doing autographs for pay and what have you. And so that became a very popular thing, and she was one of the, forerunners of that, back to William Shatner and, the guy that was Chewbacca,
Batman,
Adam West, Butch Patrick, who was Eddie in the Munsters.
Oh, Butch Patrick's made a living off that his whole entire life. He's been Eddie since the 60s.
Right.
That's right.
So you can do that.
First time I ever saw Howard, I'm kind of turning the page here a little bit, but still Dawn Wells related. I'm a huge Howard Stern fan. Me and Raider Rob for years have been. Yeah. We follow the career of Howard Stern. We know the whole story. We were listeners. I used to call the show because I loved it so much. Mm-hmm. But the first time I ever saw Howard Stern was on the Channel 9 show back in the early 90s, 91, 92, somewhere around there. Okay. I had heard Howard Stern. People were on the East Coast were bringing tapes to the West Coast, and that before he was syndicated in L.A., we would get tapes, and we heard who Howard Stern was. So I heard him, but I really didn't know who he was. So the first time, I come in stumbling on a Saturday night.
Stumbling
on a Saturday night. I grew up on Saturday Night Live and Don Kirshner's rock concert and Second City Television. Those were the late night shows on Saturday night. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, I turn on the TV. It's really late at night. I'm stumbling, and on comes this show, my late night comedy I'm looking for, And it's this new show I've never heard of. And it said Howard Stern, and it was a sketch comedy. It was called Gagagin's Island, and Howard Stern played Ginger, and Bob Denver was in it, the real Bob Denver.
Bob Denver?
And the real Don Wells, Marianne are in it. You can go check it out here on YouTube. Gagagin's Island, Howard Stern show. And it's one of the most... I was completely mortified, frankly. And that takes a lot for me to be mortified. I was like freaked out. The whole bit starts off, and you got to watch it yourself. Ginger is banging Gilligan behind a bush somewhere, and it's Howard Stern dressed in drag, and it goes downhill from there.
Oh, shit.
And Dawn Wells comes out, and she's Marianne. She's wearing this little dress, and even though she's going along with the bit, she's obviously freaked the fuck out. She's disturbed. She couldn't believe that she was doing this.
Yeah.
She's like, give me a car show signing anytime. Why am I doing this? You know? But anyway, so check that out.
So they had her in the bit.
Yeah, they had her in the bit. And like I said, during the course of the bit, because of the Howard Stern humor, Baba Booey came out in a monkey suit. And it's all of it.
Yeah.
Wow.
And she's standing there trying to act and say her lines, but you could just tell.
It's Baba.
She's just like going, okay,
that
I'll say this.
Howard Stern. Gilligan, Howard Stern. It's like totally...
There you go. So anyways, like I said, Gagagin's Island on Howard Stern.
Don Wells
show.
was the shit. And, Stone ass, you guys, weren't into him too. I've got a half laundry list of some cool white chicks that I was into growing up. You know what I'm saying? Stella Stevens being one of them. Love Jane Mansfield. I kind of like the classics because I'm into older chicks. But Dawn Wells was one of them too. Her and Tina Louise, they were very attractive.
Okay, not relegating to just white chicks. My first black chick was Uhura. For
Star Trek. He was really trying to.
Uhura, man. Uhura would have that thing sticking out of her ear on Star Trek.
Yeah.
And then she would turn sideways.
Yeah.
And she could cast a shadow.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I went.
And I imagine having a
baby wants milk.
I remember chocolate milk. I remember wondering what it would be like.
Yes, this is RaiderFan Radio.
I grew up wondering what it would like though to have like a genie chick in the house.
Who doesn't?
Like a chick that you could just have do whatever you want.
I want the genie. I want the chicks on the island. I want it all.
Right? Yeah.
I want the green chick on Star Trek. I want all of them.
In my fantasy, she looked much like you, but God bless her.
Of course,
Pam Grier, whatever. But yeah. Don Wells, iconic TV figure, Stone. Yeah, man, that's a good one. Yes.
On that note, and of course, again, you can contact us at RaiderFanRadio@gmail.com on your comments and your suggestions.
Share some of your memories from
and subscribe.
60s and 70s sitcoms.
On top of that, believe it or not, there was an actual game today. Today, we're actually doing the show on game day after game, so we got immediate reaction. And like you said, yes, the Raiders are 8-8 now. Thank God, at least they didn't go 7-9 to where it was a losing season.
Would it have mattered?
Yes, it matters to me.
8-8 is a losing season.
I wanted to win in Denver, period. I always want to win, beat the Broncos. I always want. It's the last game. Yes, it's an 8-8 season. But I will talk about some of the... First of all, we won. That's number one. That's the biggest thing.
Just win, baby.
And it was done in again, even though it was a sloppy mess of a game, a lot of...
a nail biter for those that still bite their nails.
A lot of Benny Hill moments when it comes to the defense.
And the offense.
And the
quarterback.
Turnovers and penalties all day
And
long.
the quarterback.
But they won. And they beat a... And I'll say this, though. Here's the ultimate thing that I thought, and I thought about you, Steph. Because last week,
doing a lot of thinking.
Last week when we played, who did we play last week? The Dolphins. And you said you got to go for that touchdown. You got to play to win.
Yeah.
I was impressed with the fact that the Raiders at the very last minute and a half drove down the field, got that touchdown, and they went for the 2 points. They didn't tie it up to go into overtime. They said, let's fucking win.
Oh, yeah, you made up for last week's mistake.
That's what I just said.
A week too late. Yo, I know you just said it. You get the applause for it as you see.
Thank you.
Okay, but this is what I'm saying. A week late and $5 short. All right?
$5?
You don't have time for this shit. Okay, you need to be doing that 7 games ago.
Yeah.
If you got the fortitude to have that type of guttural goddamn nerve, then that needs to be the fucking template and the mentality. I'm a record that keeps going around, damn it. And we don't even do records anymore. Okay? This is ridiculous. That has to be somehow compartmentalized into the mentality, period. That type of attitude that we saw at the end of the game. It is commendable. He heard me burning the sheets the last couple of days, all right, about him possibly being fired in the next 3 years, too.
I watched it 3 times. I'm like, did he really say that?
This is what time it is, man. And it seems like if you put a little fire under these motherfuckers, they'll get going. Also, Chucky, for health reasons, I suggest you start walking around Sunset Park here in Las Vegas, or hit the hills up there.
I told you, he's looking a lot like John Madden these days, right?
Yeah, he did. But he's he's not little, but he's
looking like Alfred Hitchcock.
You can't,
yeah.
Orson Welles.
Pretty soon he'll be doing that side view that Alfred Hitchcock did.
It's like when you get paid, initially, a lot of times with people that end up with multi-millions of dollars at one time.
Oh, yeah, it happens all the time.
First thing you do is you get as fat as you can get. You're eating all the things
He's eating a lot of steak and lobster.
Right, drinking what you want to drink.
Going to the buffet and shit.
Right, like Michael Jordan eventually, or not Michael Jordan, but like Shaq.
Like Charles Barkley,
like Charles
like
Barkley,
Shaq.
Yeah,
yes,
like
exactly.
Shaq.
Like Elvis.
But Shaq got back in
Elvis
shape
totally did it.
Elvis let it go. And you can't do that. Viva Las Raiders.
Elvis Gruden. Fuck around and whatever you hasn't seen his
Perhaps. Coach Gruden's watching us right now, and he might be taking this to heart a little bit. And maybe this next year we might see a little bit different, look.
Yeah.
John, to be the part, you got to look the part. And you want to look the part of a healthy, vibrant coach in a city of beauty and vibrant and beautiful people, international locale. You want to fit in, man. You don't want to look like you're some type of sucker hanging out on the fucking poolside, at the Mirage with some little 20-year-old and take you for all your goodies. Okay? You want to look inspired, pal.
Are you saying that John looks like a John?
John looks like a John.
Yeah.
He looks like a John.
Actually, I said it, but you
Tom,
said it.
John, and Harry. No, but I love you, Group. But on the real, man, we want the best for you.
That's why we saying it. We love you.
Want to see you healthy out there, man.
Because he might get a heart attack one of these games if they keep playing.
Well, he's got the mask on. He's red as a motherfucking devil's ass.
Now, you notice today, it was the first day, and I've been saying this since the beginning of the season. I don't think the head coaches should have to wear masks, okay? You're on the sideline. You tested a million fucking times all year long.
Right, tested.
You have to communicate this multi-million-dollar team with out there on the field every game, and you shouldn't have to wear that mask. Right. But so for the first time, man, now I've noticed that Chucky or Coach Gruden has been wearing the mask and careful to put it up. Today was the first day when some bullshit was going on. He was pulling it down and yelling at people.
Oh, yeah.
He was yelling.
He was emotional today.
Right at the end of the game, he's like, when the defense had to go out there and try to win it, don't fuck this up, no penalties, don't pull any face masks. And we need to see more of that. That's part of the character of your head coach that rules the team.
Stone, on this show all season. Attitude Adjustment was the title of one of our shows, I think week 3 or 4. The attitude has to be angry. It has to be, what we are, pirate. You're growling at the fucking nerve that somebody wants to compete against us. You're growling at the nerve that people say that we're not a good team or can't be a great team.
Right.
Gruden has to be angry and mad that he's being painted as a guy that should possibly either be on the hot seat or just be considered a throwaway coach at this point when he has a Super Bowl ring, when he reclamated a Raider team back in the late 90s, and when he reclamated a Tampa Bay team who never won shit. And now he's been brought back to reclamate this one again. He's got a part stake in the team, all right? And the bottom line with him is, yes, you've got to be the leader. You've got to be the big roar of the loud growl that you want this team to be heard for. And so I like seeing him out there. I like that there was a lot of, aggressiveness and what have you, a lot of passion, but there still was a lot of chaos, still a lot of disorganization, and there's still a lot of fucking number 4, okay, being as marginal as he's going to be and being as fucking mediocre as he's going to be.
Number 4.
You're either going to get as good as you got ever from him against Kansas City in the win earlier this season, or as bad as you got against Atlanta, or as tragic as you got against the Jets up until the last moment, and then what you got today.
Well, when it comes to number 4, though, yes, the interception sucked. The fumble by Darren Waller was just really freak out of nowhere, but they made up for it, though. When it came down to the stretch of the game and it came time to win, and this time it was on the offense. We've been having to watch the defense go out and try to win some games.
Well, you've been in the defense's ass all year.
First of all, the one major defensive collapse in the game was in the end of the game when it looked like we had a chance to win or at least tie it up. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, the Broncos on, 3rd and 10 on the 8-yard line. 92 yards to Jerry Jeudy, which is the receiver I wanted in the draft, but I like Henry Ruggs. I'm happy with Ruggs. But was Jerry Jeudy, again, remember last week I was talking about we look at these other players and they come back to bite us?
Yep.
That was that situation. 92 yards. The Swiss cheese defense rises again.
What about the incompetent offense? What about the incompetent offense? Okay, and the bad decision making early in the game, where you have a situation where our quarterback, number 4, drops back, and even the fucking annoying ass chick on TV, Beth Mallon,
I couldn't take
that. He fucking threw the ball into the ground and was allegedly supposed to be a screen. Meanwhile, what we'll show on the screen up here is that 2 players were open if he had just took a beat to not be scared and look to his friggin' right, and Hunter Renfrow, and another receiver wide open, Aguilar, the African. They were both open, all right? But this again is the impatience of this guy and how fearful he is of not being hit and just channeling and telegraphing and locking on the one.
I was ready.
When even in that moment, he should have been able to see this isn't developing. Waller has nowhere to go. Where's my check down? He likes fucking checking down so much like he works at Safeway checking bags. Okay? I'm sick of this dude. Okay? What are you people talking about out here with more Carr, more give him a chance, more I haven't seen what I want to see yet. Oh, excuse 7 years and 1 playoff appearance and the injuries and he hasn't had a team. Who the fuck does that type of shit? He threw it into the ground. He threw it to nobody. He was trying to kill chipmunks. Get the fuck out of here with this guy, man.
During the course of this game, I was dreading tonight because I knew
you fucking
if he didn't win that game at the end, I'd be screwed right now. Thank God they won the game. But yeah, you're right, man.
Fuck you! Get the ball! Get the ball!
Wait. That ball he threw, that Darren Waller bounced up like a volleyball.
Oh, Darren Waller's fault all of a sudden. It's Darren Waller's
He came in too hot when he threw it to Darren Waller for that, which ended up being a interception.
He did.
Hey man, right now,
Derek
on the line today. They didn't put in Marcus Mariota. They started Carr to finish the season, and he won.
So the bomb.
Did you see the part where he won?
So the bomb to the African. Okay, they won it doesn't mean shit. Okay, other than give you bragging rights for a couple hours and 3 blocks.
Just for the record, I love the African.
Bomb he catches Aguilar. He throws the bomb to Aguilar. He catches it. All right. And then we immediately run down. You've got a momentum. You've got a rhythm. You caught him off guard. You were in a precarious situation at 3rd down. And timeout? You killed the whole rhythm.
Yeah.
Why don't you know what to do in that situation without having to go to the front of the class and ask the teacher?
Stop spitting on me.
The Daffy
That's what I'm saying. RaiderFan Radio.
You're despicable. Okay? And so is this goddamn quarterback of yours.
My quarterback won the game.
He had to call timeout.
Your quarterback did not win the game.
He did not win the game.
He did win the game.
He didn't win the game.
A minute and a half, no timeouts. Boom, 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 boom. Score. And they gave it to Josh Jacobs to run it too, which I know that if he wouldn't have got that touchdown, I'd be suffering right now. But they did it the way they've been winning games, the way Josh Jacobs had a great day.
The way we've been 8-8.
Josh Jacobs, 2 1,000-yard seasons back-to-back. Darren Waller in the Pro Bowl. And Darren Waller beats Tim Brown's single-season reception record as well. So I look at these as the strong positives I'm looking. I think of the chemistry that Carr does have with these players right now. Yeah, he ain't perfect, But again, that defense still with everything on the line. 24 seconds, I get a text from one of my Steeler fan friends. Dude, what's up with your team? 24 seconds left. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I'm not going to hold my breath because they could still fuck this up. And they almost did. They went for the long field goal at the end. Broncos went for the long field goal, and of course it got blocked. Thank God, because that's what ultimately won the game. But it's the defense that's letting me down.
I have right here proof.
Can you see that? Here.
Literally written on the back of a receipt. It'll be shown on the show. Literally written on the back of a receipt.
There it is.
You'll see this, Raider Nation. We'll put it up for you. I have written here 12/30/2020. Okay? Don't lose or move. That's reminding myself not to remove this. Because on that date I wrote, Derek Carr will throw 2 interceptions in Denver.
Raider Fan Radio exclusive.
I said also that the Raiders would lose, setting up what's coming next.
Well,
but
so
we didn't lose. I was half wrong. But I was more right than wrong because he did throw 2 interceptions.
He sure did.
Called it again. I know this guy, and more than knowing this guy and knowing that he ain't bringing no fruits of labor or positive to the Raiders, I know that it's time for this guy to go. And enough with you guys and all your sentimental journeys with this clown. All right, I've had it with number 4. Okay, all year for the most part, I've been telling all of you that I had a deal that if I was general manager, or if I had my way, if I could influence anything when it relates to the future of the Raiders and what Mr. Davis once called the greatness of the Raiders being in its future, we are in its future. And many teams in this league have had to make moves to guarantee a great future, okay? And we're going to go back to 1989 with the Dallas Cowboys, who traded a then Herschel Walker, a great Heisman Trophy winner and a great running back coming out of Georgia and who had played in the USFL and helped establish that league, was a running back for the Cowboys in 1989. They traded him to Minnesota and got back almost 11 picks, which they used to build what we know as the cocaine dynasty. The crack dynasty. Excuse me, not the crack dynasty, my bad. Which we know as Michael Irvin Snorts and Emmett Runs. Troy Aikman is the one with the gun dynasty of the Dallas Cowboys under Jimmy Johnson. Okay, and they won 3 championships.
3 Super Bowls.
We're still living off of that. All right. We also have Mike Ditka, who, when Ricky Williams came out in 2004, I think it was in 2000.
That's when he wore the dress.
Or 1999.
Ricky Williams wore the dress on
Ricky
ESPN
Williams.
magazine.
Right.
Mike Ditka traded his whole draft with the New Orleans Saints at the time so he could get Ricky Williams as the number 1 pick. Great trades are what you do. Big trades are what you do to signify that you are looking to win and change the fortunes of a team in doldrums or a team that has had a culture of losing as the Raiders have had. Okay, we have not run a Super Bowl since 1983, and we haven't had a star quarterback in just about that time. All right, all apologies to Rich Gannon, who I didn't believe in for shit. 5 interceptions in the Super Bowl nullifies any greatness you allegedly achieved with us.
That's when stats count.
Yes, exactly. All right. You have the situation with Eli Manning, okay, and John Elway, 2 players who forced trades on draft day. Okay, and I remember back in the 80s when John Elway did it, where veterans like Terry Bradshaw and some of the other great quarterbacks back then, Ken Anderson with Cincinnati, all criticized. Who does the kid think he is? But he knew his leverage. He knew that he had a commodity, and he wanted to play where he wanted to play. Now with the sorry-ass Baltimore Colts before they moved to Indianapolis, and he ended up going to the Denver Broncos. Eli Manning, as we know, famously, more recently, forced a trade where he would have been drafted by the San Diego Chargers, the hapless San Diego Chargers, and ended up with the Giants.
Both those quarterbacks went off to win Super Bowls, too.
Yeah.
Both of them.
You also have a situation where Stone was talking about, we were talking about quarterbacks and where they end up, and you can't do this, and Matt Ryan, and what have you, who would you make a trade for, and blah, 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 and I threw those names out, Matt Ryan, and another quarterback that I can't think of right now. Okay, Joe Montana ended his career, okay, as a Kansas City Chief. Okay, if you don't know who Joe Montana is, go look him up. Okay, he was a star of his day.
It wasn't that long ago.
It wasn't that long ago, but a lot of us don't know. And he ended up a Kansas City Chief. Anything is possible, but sometimes you have to make a move.
After he was the king of San Francisco.
Yes,
Right.
for the betterment of your franchise. that despite what you may feel sentimentally, what the analytics may say is good, what the likes of the Tony Romos and the people that consider themselves insiders may say, okay, you have to do something big.
Kenny the Snake Stabler was a Houston Oiler.
He ended up a Houston Oiler along with Dave Casper and Jack Tatum, three of the biggest pieces.
Sentiment only goes so far.
Only so far, and particularly now in 2021 in the new century of professional sports business, okay, and particularly with the Las Vegas Raiders being in Las Vegas, okay, where it's about big money and big box office, as I've been preaching and saying all year. That's what we need. So, without further ado, let's get to what I've been promising you all, you folks, that in our last show, or our show that would be for the last game of the season, I would reveal to you how this team gets to the greatness of the Raiders that Al Davis is talking about. How this team instantly becomes a contender, and how this team instantly becomes the #1 show in Las Vegas.
So Raider Rob,
hands down.
Are we talking about the trade of the century?
Once in a lifetime, franchise transcending trade that shocks the world and sets the Raiders up for instant future prosperity. Think of the top flight receivers that would want to come here and play for the Raiders in the next 5 years if we get this particular guy. All right? Things go belly up in Dallas in the next 3 years. CeeDee Lamb wants out. A wide receiver that's setting his base right now in Dallas. Somebody I wish we had drafted. I like you, Henry Ruggs. But imagine them two paired together. I'm telling you to think big, Raider Nation. Stop with this frugal mentality. This mediocrity thinking. Think big. Think Vegas. You understand? What if things...
I'm on the edge of my seat.
go wrong in Minnesota? There are already some rumblings. A guy like Adam Thielen would pair well with Hunter Renfrow. Would pair well with Henry Ruggs. You got A.J. Green, who wants out of Cincinnati. Joe Burrow is emerging. Got injured this year, but he'll be back next year. But you never know. A.J. Green wanted out last year. There are so many possibilities. I don't know what's going to happen with Cleveland, but Odell Beckham is a man unto his own. Imagine if he wants out 2-3 years from now from Cleveland, okay? And they want to come to Las Vegas because we're sitting.
DeAndre Hopkins bounces around,
with the best promising arm, the one that eclipses Josh Allen, who's possibly headed to a Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes. In his last draft class of quarterbacks, Justin Herbert. Joe Burrow, as I just mentioned. Deshaun Watson is still young. There is one who sits in South Carolina who is the new poster boy for the future of quarterbacks in the National Football League. He will be on the cover of Madden, and he'll be on the cover of your girlfriend's door. All right? It's about winning 24/7 here. In order to win 24/7, you got to have a show to sell. And we can have the greatest show on turf, earth, in the Death Star, and beyond. So, again, without further ado, my I Dream of Trevor trade. The trade of the century. The trade of the millennia. The trade of the decade. You can't trade Darth Vader for the Joker on this one, pal. This is the greatest trade in the universe. In April, on the day of the draft of 2021 for the National Football League and the rights to the #1 pick overall therein, I propose that John Gruden and Mike Mayock and the Las Vegas Raiders stop fucking around and make the biggest move in the Raiders' history and for the determination and the planning of the greatness of the Raiders going forward to win Super Bowls and to be champions of Las Vegas sports and the NFL for the next 10 years. On that day, the Raiders should offer Derek Carr, wide receiver Terrell Williams, and Corey Littleton, linebacker, along with the 2021 first-round pick, the 2021 fourth-round pick, and if necessary, our 2023 second-round pick. to the Jacksonville Jaguars, who now stand as the presumed number 1 overall pick for the rights to the number 1 pick overall, in which time the Las Vegas Raiders will draft Trevor Lawrence, quarterback, Clemson, to be the future, to be the franchise, to be the foundation of the greatness of the Raiders in Las Vegas. Our own homegrown quarterback who comes in fresh, talented, ready to explode, marketable, box office, strip ready, all right? And any man who knows anything, and any woman who knows anything about football and Raider football, know good goddamn well you'd rather have Trevor Lawrence next September 4th on opening day than Derek Carr.
Dang.
That is a trade that will transcend this organization immediately back to respectability and back to the greatness that they so achieved. It will buy Chucky time to build a team around them, but we will instantly become front fucking page news.
Wow.
And that's where we need to be. And that's the type of cutthroat type of football that needs to happen over there at 1475. That, my friends, is Al Davis football.
Now, didn't Trevor Lawrence lose 2 back-to-back bowl games in the end of his college career before he put up great stats? You know, but you're always talking about the big game. Who wins in the big game? The big game. 2 consecutive games, Trevor Lawrence. Now, I like Trevor Lawrence for all the reasons
he has won a championship.
He hasn't won a championship, correct. Now, Trevor Lawrence, now you're talking about Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yes.
Possibly taking that offer to get Derek Carr. Now, Jacksonville, first of all, for the first time, they had a pick to get a franchise quarterback. They haven't had a franchise quarterback since Mark Brunell back in 1995. And then they had a little bit of success with David Gerard under Coach Jack Del Rio. But I think that Jacksonville Jaguars, I don't think they're going to want to give up that pick for nothing. Derek Carr only gives them a stopgap when they have a chance to get their franchise guy. I think that's a
which they could do with our first round.
What's that?
Which they could do with our first round. Derek Carr also could be factored into another trade by Jacksonville, sitting at our position in the first round, and trade back up into the first round to get possibly a Justin Fields, okay, or a Zach Wilson out of BYU that they may want, okay? They could trade for a veteran or offer a trade. They may sign a Matthew Stafford. Here, let me help you, Stone. They don't know what the fuck they're doing in Jacksonville. Stop helping them, you cocksucker. This is better than ever.
Maybe they should hire me to be the general manager.
Better than dealing with the Jets who know what the fuck they're doing somewhat. At least they know that the backdrop in New York, that would be to them possibly seen as a sucker deal only because of Derek Carr's factor. It is any different than giving Sam Darnold another 2 years. Outside of that, what the fuck do they know in Jacksonville?
They know they got the number 1 overall.
They don't know what the fuck to do with it.
And they're not going to know what to do with those.
They had a number 1 pick one time and they took a 5'7" running back, Maurice Drew Jones. That's what they thought would help them. 5'7". I love Maurice.
I don't think
he's from Delayed De La Salle in the Bay Area.
I don't know that I'm prepared to give away all those picks to go with it when I know that we need so much help on the defensive side.
Just free agency. Look, the Raiders have to stop being cheap, Stone. Okay,
we definitely have to get free agents.
This isn't Sanford and Son. We're not running a junkyard here. Okay, you got to stop being cheap.
You can do that.
Okay,
deep.
And every nexus of a football team that's successful starts with a quarterback. Period. Look what has happened with Josh Allen in Buffalo in 3 years. What's potentially about to happen in Los Angeles with Justin Herbert? What's happening with Lamar Jackson? They were dead, the Ravens, 3 weeks ago. Now they're back in it. This guy only threw for 118 yards today, Stone, but he had 3 touchdowns.
Man,
Ryan Tannehill, who was dead in Miami 3 years ago, resurrected his career in Tennessee. Starts at the QB. Why don't we leapfrog them all and get the QB of the decade? The Raiders are in Las Vegas. This isn't Omaha, dude. This is Las Vegas, man. Right. And if the Los Angeles Raiders have Justin Herbert, there ain't no goddamn well you can sit there and tell me we shouldn't have Trevor Lawrence.
I keep thinking to myself, for me, I want to use that top pick for a defensive tackle. I said it every year for the past 10 years. I want a defensive tackle. And although I know he's not going to be the kind of guy that
I wish somebody would hire you for minister of defense.
You're talking about the potential future of the franchise and have the face of the franchise. And again, if Mike Mayock, and I think he has enough chutzpah to decide to put it all on the table. Ends. What's that?
Faces of franchises don't start with defensive ends.
We know that with Khalil Mack, obviously, because they were able to let him go. But
with Cleveland Farrell,
we need those draft picks for so many guys on that. We need not only free
agency.
We need free agents.
Stone, we have money. We have to stop being cheap. This team has to stop being cheap. Okay? They got Rodeo Drive Dreams, okay? And Fairfax Avenue Returns. Okay? They have to stop being cheap, Stone. You can get all that.
But I think I get it.
You can have Trevor Lawrence and J.J. Watt. Okay? But they have to stop being cheap. They have to factor in some shit. They got to sell Vegas, okay? And they've got to sell the fact, all right, that you have an opportunity here to be part of something that is revitalized, okay, that is being resurrected, and you get a chance to play with the top-notch quarterback once in a lifetime, all right, who is big box office, who's going to bring you money, attention. People will be getting endorsements off of Trevor Lawrence being here, okay? Fucking third-string guys will be getting their dicks sucked in the back of the circus, okay, because Trevor Lawrence is here. Stop fucking around, Stone, all right? You're going to shit or get off the pot. This is Las Vegas, not Oakland anymore. This is Las Vegas. You got to sell this shit, man. That ain't their stadium. They don't own that.
You know, you're convincing me little by little.
I mean, what's convincing to me is just the ability to be able to...
The Raiders got to earn their fucking keep.
They've got to earn their keep.
And Derek Carr does not buy you keep.
And you've got to prove that you can do some of the moves that Mr. Davis was able to do in his career. We know you don't have that talent there anymore, but you have to be willing to go the extra mile and think outside the box.
Exactly.
I mean, everybody's...
Some imagination, man.
Everybody's settling. They're just accepting that, okay, yeah, if that's a stopgap for them, what is it for us?
Right.
It's time for that would help them. Like you said, Mark Brunell was the last franchise quarterback they had. They could bring in Derek Carr for a year to help get them reestablished with their football. You know, he can bring what he can bring to their team. And then, you know, we start off anew after 7 years of ending up in the same place year after year. I mean,
there are exact models here to scale of one of the great Giza pyramids in Egypt and the Eiffel Tower in Paris.
It can be done. The Statue of
Liberty. Yeah, Statue of Liberty.
The fuck is wrong with you?
With a Knights jersey on her. You know? I'm telling you.
This is a place that had a fucking hockey team that was expansion.
Okay, I'm
went to the championship.
Derek Carr, the number one pick.
Derek Carr. Wide receiver Terrell Williams, because Lord knows there are no wide receivers.
What's Terrell? Terrell Williams hasn't played football in 2 years.
He's a throw-in, Steph. Stone. Corey Littleton.
He's going to throw him in there.
Corey Littleton.
Basket.
That's some of the incentive because he gives some players at least to work with.
Corey Littleton on top of that?
Let him have him.
21 first-round pick.
Damn.
2021 fourth-round pick. And our 2023 second-round pick.
Not if we have him at first round, then we have a new start. We have the ability to win and start anew with this guy. You know, so you don't really need a first round.
He's a homegrown guy. He's a guy that comes in and he gets indoctrinated with the Raiders. For all the time Chucky was sitting in that goddamn football camp on TV pretending like he knew something about quarterbacks, he goes to Tampa Bay, and when he was in Tampa Bay, he has Chris Sims and guys like that. Chucky fashions himself with wanting to be a quarterback guru, but is scared of the guru part.
Right.
Okay? Yeah. Now he would have a quarterback that it is really shit or get off the pot.
With 7 years left on his contract.
But I believe Gruden has. I believe that a lot of his hampering is because he doesn't have that type of quarterback. Trevor Lawrence would have never thrown that bar in the ground like that. Trevor Lawrence would be pinpointed, that overthrow to Waller. He never made a throw like that. Does he make throws like that? Yes. But I don't think he would make them in the course of the situations that he's in, as opposed to when number 4 is in those situations and what we see as his deficiencies when he's put in those positions.
See, you're making all this sense, but at the same time, I keep thinking, this is the guy who told me how great Drew Brees was going to be in the league. You know, you just don't know. You
Who, me?
Yeah, you. You were the
He was
Drew Brees
fucking
guy.
great. He's got a ring. What the hell are you talking
You didn't
about?
get a ring? Yeah, well, you got a ring as a backup.
Yes!
As a backup with
This one is the
Patriots.
top 3 passer in the NFL right now.
Drew Brees, you
History.
mean, right?
I'm sorry. No.
Yeah, you don't
No,
mean
not
Drew
Drew Brees.
Bledsoe.
Drew Bledsoe.
Drew Bledsoe made Tom Brady
My
what
bad.
he was.
I said Drew Bledsoe would be great if he became a Raider. He didn't become a Raider. Don't try to trip me up there, Quincy. All right? Fuck you think you are? Johnny Cochran? I said if he was a Raider, he would have been great. I got it on tape. Don't have me pull that
It's
shit
still
out.
not true. He would not have been great as a Raider. But anyways.
Don't you want Trevor Lawrence?
You have me
Comment below.
I'm intrigued.
What do you think of this trade, Raider Nation? All right, I want to hear your opinion.
Are you really
We
the
want to
bet
hear
the
your opinion.
farm for Trevor Lawrence?
Yes! Yes! Farms like that only come around once at a time if they're not washed out in the flood in Iowa. All right? That's the type of farm you want. He is South Fork, baby. That's where J.R. Ewing's from. Google it, kids. Okay?
Man, seriously.
This is a friend. Look where you are.
I know it, man. Well, right now things aren't the way we need to see them, but I know they're coming back. But when they come back, and they got to come back big. They got to come back huge. You got to do it with rock star type of Elvis,
Exactly.
Frank Sinatra.
Exactly. Let me put it in your turn.
I get
Let me
it.
put it
For
in
the
your
record,
turn.
I get it.
Let me put it in your
does
turn.
get it.
Let me
Whether
put
I think
it.
it'll happen, that's another story, but I get it.
Let me put it in your terms. Let's go back to our youth. Okay? Black Sabbath is going down a goddamn sinkhole with Ozzy's drugged out ass in 78 and 79.
Right.
We all love Black Sabbath. We all love Ozzy Osbourne.
Right.
But goddamn it, he just ain't hitting the
He's not doing it
lyrics
anymore.
on Iron Man like
Yeah.
he used to.
And then they go and get Ronnie James Dio.
Exactly, Pinky. Exactly, Pinky. It's still Black Sabbath.
And they record Heaven and Hell, and they make history, and then rock and roll was reborn.
John Gruden, you're Tony Iommi right now. You've got to trash your neighbor, sacrificing, you like the kid and all that. You guys have Bible study together, I presume. I don't know. All right, no offense to you Christians, Jesuits, Methodists, or any others. All right, but on some real shit. Come on, man. All right, because in a while it's going to be time for both of you motherfuckers to go. Straight up.
Yeah.
That's the next
I would say this, yes. Coach
Okay.
Gruden will definitely put
because we're not
himself-
going anywhere with
put
Derek
himself
Carr.
first.
Enough with the Derek Carr. Okay, it's over.
Yeah.
He's not going to win a Super Bowl for you, and he's not appealing. He's not somebody that I came all the way from Iowa or Florida or New York, and I'm a Raider fan, and I'm really ready to shell out $150 to watch him.
I'm really not.
He doesn't sell.
You know?
Okay, we need a star. We need a new lead singer, all right, for our classic rock band. Because there's big money for the next big tour that we do, but we ain't getting paid by the promoters if we bring out this old off-key motherfucker again. And Derek Carr is off-key.
Crunch says, I've decided to listen for the last 2 minutes. It's infuriating. And I still can't stand Gruden, win or no. He has insisted that we should cut our losses. And if Mark Davis doesn't do so, then he should sell the team to somebody who should.
Well, if we don't trade Derek Carr and the first round pick for all these, the farm, if we don't bet the farm, and we do start to rebuild on the defensive side of the ball, as I've been talking about 20 years now, because it has been that long, I would go out.
Yeah.
I like J.J. Watt, number one. First of all, we're calling out 100%, regardless of what happens on the defensive side of the ball. Mike Mack should already be on the phone. I know now the Texans are officially out of it too. Houston Texans. Make J.J. Watt a Raider. That would automatically bring us some respect.
Off-season priority.
That's the number one free agent that I'm interested in.
Yes.
Second, go ahead, Steph. Second, as far as defensive tackles go, I think I talked about Richard Sherman as far as a DB, even though he's at the end of his career, but he would bring in some kind of bring some attitude to the defensive back room. But on the defensive tackle, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw the name like Ndamukong Suh at the end of his career.
Well, he should be down there now.
That's
the type of shit I'm talking about. We should have signed him this past year.
I mean, even though he's at the end of his career, he's at the end of his career.
No, he's not in the career.
He's still got about good 3 or 4 years left, possibly, but he's not at his prime. He's not his prime, but either way, he's a difference maker, and he's a free agent that you want to bring in to change the dynamic of the room with your defense. He would bring in that disruptive leadership and attitude at the defensive tackle.
We've got a disruptive guest coming up real soon.
As far as draft pick, I'm just going to throw it out there now
RaiderNation.
because I know what Rob wants to do with the draft picks. For me, that draft pick, got my eye right now on J. Tufele. That's the kid I'm looking at USC. J. Tufele. He has.
Is this along the lines of that other motherfucker you like?
I like those angry Samoans.
University of Spoiled
I
Children.
like those angry Samoans. Ray Maualuga. And he's from USC like Ray Maualuga.
Oh.
J. Tufele went to high school and was a monster, a beast here in Utah. Okay. And then he went to, he had his choice of all the great schools, Ohio State, Michigan, and he chose USC, went to USC. He's 6'3", he's an angry Samoan, he's disruptive, he's a monster, he's a beast, he's an angry Samoan. I told you, I love my angry Samoans.
The Raider Fan Radio.
Right here, all you angry Samoans.
But you're not canceling my partner. Go ahead, Stoner.
Anyways, number 78. So I figure, he's got Vegas is right between Utah and USC, right in the middle.
Oh, right, you're a geography major.
He's done that 15 freeway many times. He knows the area very well. But he has that. He reminds me
He knows the area. This is his cell. He is like, I'm going to get me a deal.
I'm buying it.
He's a local.
I wasn't interested in 37.
He's a local.
Right.
He's a local.
Bring him in, please.
I'm telling you, man. Go look at tape on J. Tufele out of USC. Been watching him. He decided to opt out this season.
Spell it.
Jai Tufe little thing Le J. Tufele. That's my boy. Look for him.
All right. I mean, I'm with the D line and all of that because I've been saying we really needed a safety for a while. Now I don't know who's the hot dude in college right now, and as we've talked about this before, I don't pay attention to that. I don't pay attention to college sports too deeply.
Too much.
Too
much going on.
He's a local.
Bring him in.
Bring him in.
Bring him in. But I know we do need to beef it up, and I think that we have the opportunity.
But he's as fast as a linebacker.
He's
huge and he's fast and he hits hard.
That's it.
So you're
Can we get a few of them?
You saying DB helps Steph?
I'm saying DB help, definitely.
Is what you would be looking at.
DBs, safeties, and cornerbacks.
How about the doobie?
Somebody
Where's
that
the
can shut it
doobie?
down.
Give
right
him
there.
something to smoke, for the love of God.
Oh yeah, and I like.
Oh, shit.
I've been watching Clemson now because of you. You've been for the
Check out angry
Raider's been telling me about Trevor Lawrence now for a couple of years. This is a long-term commitment.
This isn't new.
I get it.
This is Todd Marinovich. This is Todd Marinovich and John Elway closing.
I see it. I've watched the kid. He's
Go ahead,
good.
Stoner.
I like the linebacker, inside linebacker. He plays all over. But I thought he was a strong safety.
Mm-hmm.
That's James Skalski, number 47.
Oh, yeah, from
Who got
Clemson.
ejected yesterday.
Yes.
I thought when I first saw him, because he roams the field so much and he moves around.
And his number probably threw you
And
off, too.
47,
Yeah.
his number's 47. I thought he was a strong safety.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, everywhere the ball was, he was.
That's what I'm saying.
He looks like that kid in high school that was just bred for football and just kept going.
Right.
He just likes to. He's got the eye and the nose for the
he's
ball.
from Clemson.
And he's from Clemson.
And that's the thing. You don't want him ruined by coaching.
Hunter Renfrow
You want to
was from
keep that
Clemson.
natural momentum, that natural ability to be able to read and react on the field and play the ball. Do not let yourself be, brainwashed or brain hosed by these coaches in the NFL. Yes. Just like Greg Towns, like you said. Yes! Like, I don't know if we have a sound for that, but they're getting brain hosed. He knows what to do, but you see a guy like that come in, and you Raiders will bring him in, and the next thing you know, he's specializing and he's not really doing those things that he could do. I remember when John Gruden kept Charles Woodson back, held him
When
back.
he wanted to return kicks.
Yeah, he wanted to return kicks. I mean, you let Charles go both ways because he's that kind of athlete. You stood in his way then. This is what I'm saying about coaches' mentality. Let these kids be the talent that they are, these men, and grow them into, like you said, the last show, Hall of Fame athletes.
You're supposed to mold them. $100 million, man. You're supposed to be taken up from that persona you had as quarterback football camp, or wherever the fuck that was on ESPN. Okay? And that's what you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be a mad scientist right now.
Right.
I mean, come on, John. You know, you coach
now
with some great coaches with Green Bay, Philadelphia. I know you came up with an NFC mentality, but you know the AFC. All right? And that's what you got to get to. Wide open football, explosive. Buffalo today, 56-something. 26
so
over
how
Miami.
did they get that? By scoring field goals?
By throwing touchdowns.
Yes.
Okay? That is the DNA of the AFL and the AFC, as well as the Raiders, who are the motherfucking kings of that shit. You've got to get back to that. And again, I accuse you sometimes of coaching scared. Okay? That's because you've been driving around, okay, the car that you've had, all right, has been a fucking early 2001 Audi. Okay, Trevor Lawrence is a not even made yet Maserati. Okay, he's 0 to 70. All right, in 3.7. Trust me, this cat is the next big thing, and we all know it. All right, that shit that happened with the NCAA and them losing and all that, man, that's set up shit, man. All right, that was to fucking placate Ohio State and to make it look like they were legitimate. And so I won't go all the way out and say that, you know, Clemson sold out. But they stood down. All right. And it was to bring his stock down a little bit because now they don't have to have the drama of him deciding to go to New York. Jacksonville can be bargained with. I understand and I respect where Stone's coming from. And I'm not shorting you people in Jacksonville that you may not have a competent administration. But right now, you motherfuckers need all the good you can get. You thought Blaine Gabbert was an answer 3 years ago. So you'd be gladly happy to take Derek Carr. And let me just say like this. Do it for the league, goddammit.
Right.
Do it for what's best because the league is better when the Raiders are competitive. All right? And the money that is on the table, when we finally get a prominent star, rock star, like Stone said, like himself, a rock star at quarterback, all right, as the face of our team, everybody profits. Because we're in the most profitable city in America, Las Vegas, Nevada.
I mean, come on,
all right.
now.
So that's what has to happen.
AFC West,
and yet I want to hear Tony Romo and Kurt Warner and Rich Gannon and all you Iron Eagle and you other motherfuckers have been kissing this cocksucker's ass all week and all year. Tell me that that's not a trade you would go for. As I posed the question last week, you so-called professionals, would you start your franchise tomorrow with Derek Carr or Trevor Lawrence? Yeah. Put that in your legalized pipe and smoke it.
Silence.
The Kansas City Chiefs have Patrick Mahomes.
That's what I thought.
Justin Herbert has... the Chargers have Justin Herbert. I think that the Broncos are a quarterback away from probably being a competitive
They've got
team
one.
as
Drew
well.
Lock could be serviceable.
Yeah, Drew Lock's not the future.
All right.
Over there. They're going to go get
What do I
somebody.
care about some fucking horses?
Well,
What's our future?
The point being is that they're going to get better. The Broncos are going to get better. Everyone's getting better in the AFC West.
Right.
The Raiders have to, if you want to be the best team, you got to be the best team.
And you have to have a strong-armed quarterback, okay, who is confident, all right, and who knows football, spontaneous, and has a little flash to him. That's also where the league's going. Again, sports, entertainment. What are we? We're sports entertainment.
We're the world's #1 sports entertainment radio talk show.
In the world's #1 sports entertainment capital.
Correct.
Right.
I
We
concur.
need a #1 sports entertainment quarterback. And #4 ain't it. Okay?
Damn.
Okay.
I mean, we're going to be taken up for murder soon here if we don't stop shooting people. I hope all of you out there are ducking. But anyway, that's who we are. That has been what I've been waiting all season to tell you folks.
That's the trade of the
That is the trade of the century.
It's on the table, literally.
Literally. It's right there.
We will be a great franchise if we make that move. We will instantly
I think you should put that in the comments section here at
Marketable?
Raider Fan Radio. Put the whole list of everything
I
that
will.
you propose.
It's going to be on the screen.
And then everybody else can comment and decide if they want to
It's going to be on the
bet
screen.
the farm on Trevor
Right.
Lawrence.
Okay, and I'm calling it. I believe the Raiders, John Gruden and Mike Mayock, have the cojones to do it.
John Gruden did say in a press conference, he says it frequently, but he does it very strategically. Mm-hmm. We like those kids from Clemson. He says it over and
I know
over
that.
and over. And he proves it in the draft,
I know
obviously.
that.
So
I know why you know that.
you
too.
know that John Gruden's been watching everything that Trevor Lawrence
In my
has done.
opinion, the only players safe from the
Yeah,
Raiders right
sounds
now
good to me.
and are untradeable are Max Crosby, Josh Jacobs, Henry Ruggs, Darren Waller, Hunter Renfro, John Abram, and possibly Trayvon Mullen. Those are the untradables. Everybody else is pack your shit, U-Haul is down the street, and take your motherfucking ass to your next destination. On some real shit. All right, it's time to shoot the gun. All right, it's time to pull the trigger and load up. All right.
Well, you got me thinking. I'll be thinking all the way till show number 15.
All right.
Now, we do also have a special guest today that we haven't really mentioned so far. And we ready? Want to keep teasing it, or you want to keep going?
Well, real quick,
Tease it.
let's jump into the NFL. Like I
Okay.
mentioned, the Buffalo, we heard the playoffs today was officially the last week of the National Football League's regular season. Whatever to everybody else. God bless you.
Whatever.
Anyway, your emerging great teams that are leading the way: Pittsburgh, Buffalo, of course, out of the AFC. You also have Kansas City, the defending world champions.
Tennessee Titans.
Okay, the Tennessee Titans are in it. Also, the Baltimore Ravens. Then over on the NFC, of course, New Orleans has made their pick. I don't know what the fuck's going on in NFC East. It's
Green
a mess.
Bay.
I don't know if it's
Oh, yeah,
Dallas.
yeah, we
it's
don't even
Washington
know who's
football
winning right
team.
now, yeah.
What the fuck's going on in that shit?
I want to see the Washington football team go.
You said that when you got here. Why
Because-
up with that?
Okay, first of all, I liked your song, The Team With No Name.
The Team
I've been
With No
singing that all for the past couple shows. And I root for Ron Rivera because I think he's a great football coach.
love Ron Rivera.
And of course, the adversity he's had this year dealing with cancer
God bless
treatments.
him.
He's got Jack Del Rio, who we all love, was always our second
Love
choice.
Jack Del
after
Rio. Both
Chucky.
Bay Area guys. Yep.
I do root for them, and the fact that they pulled the Redskin name away from them. On top of all that, they have to go into the season with all this adversity,
The Washington
with COVID and all these things going on, and the fact that right now in the very last game of the season, they're playing a significant game that could possibly win the division, as shitty as it is.
And with, like we said earlier,
I would like to see it because I hate all those other teams
Yeah.
in the NFC.
and as we said, being led by a
I don't want
guy,
to see Tampa Bay go.
we said earlier this season, being led by a guy who was left for dead, Alex Smith.
Again, another
with an
great
injury.
story. That's a great football
Great.
story.
And then Chase Young, the number one pick out of Ohio State for them.
Defense.
Who is becoming a
Defense.
defensive stalwart, reminding people of LeVar Arrington and Charles Dexter
LeVar
Manley.
Leap.
Yeah. And so, I'm with you with Washington. Like I said, I don't know what's going on in the NFC East, but the Rams, of course, in Seattle, out of the West, along with Arizona.
I know this. I put money on the Cowboys today. They
Could
lost
be very
and they fucked
competitive.
me.
No, they will fuck you.
Why did you do that?
Dallas, man. Everybody gets fucked there.
They
Did you not learn anything from JFK? Stop fucking around with
I
Dallas.
learned nothing.
So anyway, the playoffs are coming.
Playoffs?
Wild card is coming.
You kidding
will be the
me?
first round of the playoffs.
Playoffs?
It looks like it's going to be a real exciting playoffs. I wanted to say, we earlier in the season, either show 2 or 3, we all 3 threw out our Super Bowl picks. So I wanted to update them tonight. And see
You want to
where
go
we
back
all
in time
are
and
with
embarrass
the-
us?
No, I'm not going to embarrass anybody, I don't think, because I think you guys are competent football prognosticators.
I didn't even pick any, so.
Well, you're out.
She's smart. She's a smart
She
one.
didn't pick anybody. Do you remember?
Of course I remember. I pick
Okay.
them every year.
Where they
I
at?
always pick the Raiders and the Packers because I want to see that repeat
Of Super Bowl
of Super Bowl II. And obviously Green Bay is in it and the Raiders aren't in it. So I'll tell you who I know the NFL wants in it. The NFL wants Kansas City and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's what they want.
They want Kansas. Yeah,
That's
I'm
what
with you
they
there,
want.
Yeah.
I kinda
I think
believe
that's what would
sounds
sell the
right.
most.
Yeah,
That
get
sounds
Brady there.
right.
Who I'm rooting
Brady
for
Get Brady there.
is I'm rooting for the Buffalo Bills with Josh Allen and all the touting that Raider Rob's done all season long and got me on board with that gritty
Wyoming in the
blue-collar
house.
Buffalo team, doing it with defense and special teams on top of that.
Right.
And on the NFC, I'm rooting for the Washington football team. That's who I'm rooting for
Wow.
right now.
And we're all
They're probably losing while I'm saying this.
team with no name.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, for me, I did pick back then out of the AFC 3 teams in each division conference. I had the Chiefs and the Bills and the Ravens going to represent the AFC, or and the NFC. I had Seattle or either Green Bay or New Orleans going. So all those teams are in play, but as Stone has done, I'm going to bring it down to just the two from each conference. And for me, I got to roll with Buffalo. It's sentimental because growing up as a Raider fan,
is this Bills fan radio?
No, hell no.
Just making sure.
I always liked the Bills uniforms. I was a big O.J. Simpson fan and the Electric Company. Bobby Chandler, who starred for us in the 1980 Super Bowl as a wide receiver. Another major move Al Davis made to get a primetime wide receiver who was at the time touted as being another Freddie Biletnikoff up in Buffalo. He came to Oakland and helped us win Super Bowl, what was that? 11, 10. What the fuck Super Bowl was that? 11, 12, 13.
Take a pick.
15. Super Bowl 15. My bad. Super Bowl 15 in New Orleans. Bobby Chandler. So, and I just always liked their uniforms until they got to the fucking red helmets. But the run and gun, Jim Kelly, all of that, just always liked the Buffalo, their fan base, the Bills Mafia. Shout out to them. One of the more original fan bases that didn't go with Nation.
Phil Villapiano considers the Bills kind of his second team.
Yeah, exactly. And so then, out of the NFC... Okay, because fuck the Chiefs, of course. Back to the AFC. Out of the NFC,
let's make that clear.
Right.
You know, our boy Dre's up in Seattle, but of course I got my fill of Seattle when they sold out to the Patriots. So I'll never put any money on Seattle again. God bless Drew Brees and Alvin Kamara down there in New Orleans, but I just don't think they're the ones. I'm looking at a Green Bay Buffalo Super Bowl is what I'm looking at. Aaron Rodgers, I got to roll with my Cowboy. All right, straight up, literally roll
I would like
on
a Green Bay Buffalo Super Bowl.
So that's
too.
what I'm looking for.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Yes, and the young going up against the new because Josh Allen also has a lot of characteristics of Aaron Rodgers. Young, cool in the pocket, all right, very savvy, smart,
and he wins.
Spontaneous, he wins, accurate, and nonplussed about anything going on around him. So,
unshakable.
That's my Super Bowl. Green Bay Bills, and of course, I'm AFC all the way every day. All right, unless it's the Chiefs or the punk-ass Broncos or the punk-ass Chargers. All right, so the Bills will beat Green Bay in the Super Bowl. Sorry, Aaron, 37-21.
All right. Well, I think it's a great idea for the Bills to be able to go and win a Super Bowl, and that would be awesome for them.
Especially 4 losses in a row back in the 90s and what have you, and you know, just a great fan base, like we said, another team that has played in the same stadium for over 45 years now, and just a small community, much like what's growing here in Vegas, and a community that's very into their sports. And the Buffalo,
they freeze for their team.
They freeze
That's
for their team.
The bottom fucking line.
They freeze for their team.
They freeze for their team.
Every
sentimental favorite. Now,
Green Bay too.
NFL this year, though, and Buffalo has been one of the cities that hasn't had fans, but there have been fans this year at stadiums, and I've been kind of
some stadiums. Depending on the political realm
in the region
states.
and area, but at least since Game 4 or 5 this year, even through the different outbreaks of COVID being spread out in different regions during the last 6 months, I've just been kind of, perturbed and curious about why there hasn't been a focus on the fans that are allowed in games. There hasn't seemed to be, as we know, fans in all of the 4 major sports, but particularly football, are always part of the backdrop and the narrative of each game. And even in COVID, there has not seemed to be a focus where there are fans being let in, like Cleveland and Kansas City and places like that, where the media or the NFL is talking about fans.
Yeah, that is surprising.
And putting any highlight on the fans.
Because it's such a rare, you're lucky to even get to go into a stadium
right.
this year. This is a big deal.
Right.
It's like this should be like one of the most unique experiences that
right.
you can speak
and it
of.
should be being reported on.
I mean, there hasn't been any feedback at all. No reporters are talking to fans or finding out how their experiences are at the game. What's it like being in a COVID year?
How do you qualify to get in?
How do you feel about putting your life on the line?
Or your team, literally, we say that metaphorically, that we bleed silver and black. We put our life down for the team. People get tattooed with the Raider emblem and all that. But to really, like you said, literally possibly put your life. I was so surprised that they watching Denver. I'm like, they're a mile high. I've been to Denver a few times. They're up in the air. Why aren't there fans there?
Let's not have any more cutouts of people's dogs and their kittens and all that bullshit out in the stands. I can't take that anymore.
And fans.
It's already insulting enough that we can't be at the games. Yeah. You're going to put up a cardboard cutout?
And the canned fan shit, too.
They don't want you to get used to it.
Even the canned fan shit has just gotten annoying. But, yeah, there hasn't
still
been...
deciding if we're going to let you guys back in or not.
But some fans have been let in. It's just been interesting. It's like, are they trying to downplay that fans are in? Or they don't want to maybe skewer,
call attention to it?
Some,
it's all politics. It's all
some type
politics.
of response where people going, well, you let those people in. Why aren't you letting more?
Right.
I understand first responders like Green Bay and places like that have been good about letting first responders and people that are on the front lines or what have you. In college, they let the parents and people that are associated with the family of certain institutions and schools were allowed in the games. Some of these bowl games the past week. But, that's just an interesting thing. And one guy that, when we were in Oakland, you'd be hard-pressed to keep out a fucking game.
Oh, man.
What is that?
He's in the streets and he's in the stands.
He's everywhere. And he was a man that was loud, proud, a radio superstar. A man that started out on the JT the Brick Show back in the mid-'90s and catapulted himself through his passion, through his cause, through his reverence for the Raiders, and also because of his criticism of the Raiders, which would always be very poignant and very fucking critical at the point that it was constructive criticism always, but also with the addendum that if the Raiders couldn't get their shit together and what they needed to get their shit together with was going up the gut, okay, by having some fortitude. He had a passion that it also exuded anger, but it also exuded a faith, a belief in what he believed in and what he believed he could will with his energy to a team. He also took on the persona of a superhero at many times and was beloved in Oakland and RaiderNation. Go ahead, Stone.
Well, and also we forgot to also mention a founding member and forefather of the old years of Raider Fan Radio.
Yes.
Back in the early
days. One of the first co-hosts.
RaiderFanRadio.com 20 years ago.
Wow.
Wow, how time has flown.
How time has flown. Anyway, he is here with us.
You still look good.
Yeah, so do you. You look
what
beautiful.
can I say?
You are a beautiful Black Hole Stef. But this guy looks good too. And a lot of you out there will recognize him when you see him. A lot of you won't. But we are starting here in our incarnation, in this incarnation, of also featuring a lot of, like we say, our own community that we have, a lot of the stars of that community. And there's nothing wrong with saying that. A lot of us became celebrities because of our fandom with the Raiders. And we're very proud of it. And it garnered us a lot of attention. And it helped bolster the identity of the Raider Nation, but also the Raiders. During times when they weren't the best football team on the field, the media really focused, particularly in the Bay Area, on the excitement.
The Raider fans of the Raider Nation.
The Raider fans of the Raider Nation.
Spectacle when the Raiders were winning.
And who were the marketers, ambassadors of the image for a lot of years. And one of them has stood the test of time still, and who was one of those great faces that represented that, all right? A former member of the Black Hole, and also an up-and-coming, emerging again, reincarnated superhero of the Raider Nation.
Reincarnated?
Yes, Raider Man joins us. There he is, y'all. The infamous one. Raider Man. What's up with you, baby? It's good to see you. It is good to see you. Yes, many of you may have heard of the legend of Raider Man, and I know someone out there in particular, Raider Homer. Here he is.
Raider Man.
It's Raider Man, the one you heard about. How you doing, brother?
Man, I'm better than good.
You better than good.
I'm here alive, and I'm moving. Man, I'm talking about, I'm all in on my Raiders, man, and I'm looking for this time of improvement. So now that the season is over, and we can get past the false narratives and, this calling of these new age players and all the rest of that stuff, time for the gloves to come off.
Damn.
Because we ain't going to get no better like this, man. I'm tired of living in mediocrity, cuz. I mean, we only getting older. It was just recently my birthday. I'm 48 years old.
That's right. You
48.
sure did.
48 years
Happy birthday.
48's the new 30.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that. And y'all know everything that we grew through with this team, man. I'm talking about supporting them when there was nobody really out there to support.
Yes.
I remember when the favorite player on the team was Marcus Tuiasosopo.
Wow.
Remember you had to call me?
That was me.
I mean, like, in the very beginning, man, when you came up with the idea and really started the whole Raider fan, I'm sorry, I screwed it up. Raider Nation radio.
Yeah, it's all good.
It's like, it gave people like me an opportunity to get this kind of passion out.
Right.
Because, I mean, I'm talking about, like, Raiders was or is my life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you literally helped me see that. You know, though this is a nickname or whatnot, and I kind of played it down for the longest time, this persona is a transcending thing. And as soon as we can get a spirit like mine, because I'm not the only one, but once we can get all those spirits synergized and get the true passion of the Raiders back, you speak to it all the time, man. King Al didn't do all this for nothing.
Right.
I'm talking about the very first screwing that this man got was everybody taking his idea for luxury suites and brand new stadiums and all the rest of that kind of crap. And they getting funded. These people were getting stadiums given to them. And King Al was working, sacrificing his own. And I'm talking about, like, you know, I might have kind of gone off on a tangent here, but I'm over here holding back anger. Because I can't understand how we get from that time to this, pride and poise, commitment to excellence, just win, baby.
Right.
And now we can't even get solid QB1 play.
Say that again. We can't get solid what play?
QB1 play.
Wow.
I'm like Stone. I root for who we have. So you was fair in attacking us Carr followers. Because I was one of them. I'm calling in the radio shows, DC, MVP, 2020. You know what I mean? Because that's who we got.
Yeah.
But we made moves for that kid that we've never done in this organization. Never seen it done like this before.
Right.
Interesting.
And that's baffling to me. It was befuddling to me. And it also repulsed me. Because now the transition is gone. I think I understand the key to all of this car color. It's jersey sales.
Raider Fan Radio exclusive.
See?
Raider Man edition.
This is my theory, America. People now get sympathetic about players, athletes. These people are what King Al used to call commodities. And if you're not an asset, your ass get the fuck out.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
There was a standard to this. There was a way that this thing was gone. And now, what we have, the most important or the most insulting thing, as I consider it, is DC, or as I now, respectfully call baby brother.
Right.
He is the eldest tenured football player on this team.
Wow. Speak it.
He owns this team.
Did you hear that,
fans.
Nation? Did you hear
We
that?
fans, we own this team more than y'all own this team. We know what you're supposed to do. And none of us getting a dime for it. But we pay you to go out there and suck like that.
Yeah.
And you can't even answer tweets. You motherfuckers is repugnant to me. You see what I'm saying? Get y'all shit together, man. See, this is the forum where I can express myself. I get on daytime radio and I call the other shows or whatnot because I like to support what's our home. This is our team. I'm not the kind of guy that has to run the ship, otherwise I want to see the motherfucker sink. So I sacrifice. I'll tell you my latest sacrifice, ladies and gentlemen of the Raider Nation, and I hope as you motherfuckers listening behind the walls of Allegiant Stadium, because I can't sell out with Death Star yet. Not only did that motherfucker get blown up twice, but we don't play like a team that deserve to have a nickname of anything other than shit. So, before I subscribe to signing up for all y'all high price and tax items, I want to set what I consider a foundation of fellowship so that we can understand what this thing is all about again. Let's do revision.
You think they don't understand, right?
Oh, they can't understand.
Oh, okay.
There's no way you can understand when common sense takes 50 million thousand words to try to explain.
Whoa!
Damn.
You can't sell me a lie. You motherfuckers don't know what Raider Nation is. Because you haven't met the people who made Raider Nation. So if everybody out there that's trying to make a name for yourself, in my terms, I say God bless you. Because I can appreciate and I admire your ingenuity, I admire your intellect, I appreciate your talent and your art. But we come from a place where each and every person that decided to put on garb to go to these games,
Right.
if I can't hear you before I see you, you're irrelevant to me. These are not costumes, ladies and gentlemen. They motherfucking uniforms. Get your shit together. So they got lucky this year. Because we wasn't in the stadium in the boo they motherfucking act.
That's what I've been saying.
Hey man, I'm too near you not to hear you. But you gotta watch how you talk to me.
I know that's right. Let me ask you, Raider Man. You've been here to Las Vegas.
It's his first time.
In Vegas. Got his Vegas cherry pop.
He made it.
Got his Vegas
My
cherry
wife
pop.
who booked the trip and sent my
Yes.
Right on.
Yes, Madame Valencia.
Madame
Valencia.
See what happens when you like and subscribe and listen to the show?
Yeah.
We end up here.
Now, of course, you were a mainstay and a great public figure and personality of sports talk and sports fandom in the Oakland Bay Area during our first incarnation of the show. But of course, when the Raiders returned back to Oakland, a star in the JT the Brick Show in the Bay Area on KMBR and the Ticket 1050. Okay, stepped away for a while but came back. All right, and now that you're back, the changes that you saw before the team left, and then of course them ultimately moving again, you now being in Vegas. Overall, how have you felt about the Raiders moving to Vegas and what you think is the potential of this team now that they're at another new home?
That's an absolute.
And any sentiments about, Oakland, leaving Oakland too?
Yeah, and as much as I love the O, and it'll always be my heart and my place, my real home, that cement mausoleum, that's the real stadium forever. But the truth of the matter is, the motherfuckers never respected King Al, and they didn't want us. So holding on to somebody that don't want you, I've learned from personal experience, can be pretty damaging to your health. It was time to grow up. Now,
grow
I don't
out.
know how much. I mean, I really don't know how far
yeah.
to go with my credit for like Mr. Mark Davis and all the rest of that kind of stuff, because he not his dad. He don't have a gravitas that exudes a confidence or anything in the spectrum of what we demand as Raider fans.
That's why he coached. That's why.
And
he
I
hired Coach
believe
Gruden.
that they'll never understand it until they decide to reach back and touch out to the motherfuckers that made you. We've rooted for ineptitude, and you've given us nothing.
That's real.
But hassles. Well, now we're here because we survived your storms.
Yeah.
And we're still rooting for your product, even though you're giving us shit. Well, this is a business now. And, healthy minds prevail. So unless you start putting a product on the field that's sellable, I'll be careful with how much lip advertising y'all doing.
That's real talk. That's real talk.
There's too many excuses, way too much finger pointing, and I love where you went with your with the pick. I actually, I'm not scared to give up these so-called draft picks. We ain't made none of them motherfuckers work no way. And I believe in what I've learned to call, I got this term that I threw out there on the daytime shows. I call it groo-rock.
Who?
Groo-rock.
All right, on three. Rock.
All right. Because that's Groo with Mayock. And the potential to marry those
It's their power couple name.
It's a power couple. It did. Power couple. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the thing that we need to do the most is change our motherfucking image.
Yes.
Right.
We gotta get an identity.
Image that we
This
have.
Get an identity.
running around now, pudgy as shit in the belly, still being called Chucky.
See, Chucky?
It's kind of a mockery.
Yep. They will start calling you fatty.
Hey,
I know, instead of Chucky.
Hey, you don't get down on a guy that likes cookies. I like my pies. I like my cakes.
I like them.
No, he's in a lot more than fucking cookies.
Groom, God bless you, brother. But for a fat dude, you got the tightest track stride I ever seen in my life. You got to pick up your pace, though, and eat a couple more.
Stop wearing that fleece.
That fleece is clean, but you got to give one more side bigger. Stop wearing that damn seatbelt. That's what you do. Put that shit in a backpack or something, Get a damn bib.
Right.
A
couple sit-ups in the off season, you'll be fine.
Right.
Hey, we kid because we care, bro.
We kid because we care. Folks, this is some of the talent that's coming your way. All right, with Raider Man, the original, the one and only Neighborhood Raider Man. And just to let you know, we're going to be featuring during our off season as me, Stone, and Steph start to, come up with ideas to produce it until we get to our draft.
We got to do something to entertain ourselves for the
Raider
off
Man
season.
will be featured in one of our new series, which is going to be Raider Fan Radio presents Famous Fans of the Nation. There are a lot of fans in our orbit and in your orbit too, who are very famous, who are very popular, and who have backstories, who have stories to their lives, not just as fans, but inspiring and very relatable and real inspirational, like I said, stories about their lives personally and how they became Raider fans and how the Raider Nation and the fanship that they have has helped them in a lot of different critical moments in their lives that some of us take for granted, and Raider Man has a great story that goes along with his persona as one of the first superheroes of the fandom of the Raider Nation in Oakland. And so that will be coming to you soon. He's going to be the first episode, of Raider Fan Radio Presents Famous Fans of the Nation, featuring Raider Man. So we're looking forward to that. Stay tuned for that. We'll make sure we pump it up and promote it to you, and you'll get to see some more and hear some more of this great man's story and some of just the great adventures he's had in his life as one of your star fans of the nation. Yeah.
Speaking of fans, because this is something I want to bring up earlier, but now it's a perfect time here because you're right. The fans, all the fans out there, all the listeners, everybody out there has a great backstory, and we like to talk about that here at Raider Fan Radio. We always have. It's been part of our entertainment factor. It keeps us entertained,
right?
And we love. It's like that's how the family community builds. When you kind of get to know everybody.
Yeah.
Right.
But today, I don't know if you guys saw this, but I saw it. Violator, the great Violator, Raider fan.
Wayne Mabry.
I consider the face of the Raider Nation, that makeup that he created.
Yes.
To me, that's the face. There's many great...
He is the king of the LA Raiders.
There's many great faces of the Raider Nation, but when I see his makeup job that he created...
He's the king of the LA Raiders.
He's the Violator. He always just... That's like the... he's got this intimidating...
Get some!
King Diamond Gene Simmons kind of look.
Love you, man.
But anyway, so Violator today got a visit from Howie Long. Howie Long, and this was on the Fox Sports TV specials today, in between the game. So Howie Long goes to Wayne Mabry, Violator's house, in his gold jacket, and he told Violator that he was nominated for the Ford Hall of Fans that's recognized by the NFL. And there you go. And what needs to be done, and I say
about time.
When I say it needs to be done, he was nominated. So that means everybody out there right now, we'll get this on the screen and we'll put this on our comments. Go to FordHallOfFans.com. That's FordHallOfFans.com and vote Violator.
All right.
Violator! Vote Violator!
Vote Violator!
Vote Violator!
That's right. Violator Wayne Mabry was one of the first fans to really establish the culture that became the Los Angeles Raider fan base when the team moved there in '82, along with his partner Vlad Skolman. They were two of the first real costume fans, as Raider Man just said, who helped put a stamp on the image of the Los Angeles Raiders and helped introduce that whole tradition that had came from Oakland, from Darth Raider, of having costumes and of representing the Raiders in another alter ego image of yourself.
Part of the evolution of
part of the
Raider
evolution.
fans.
The spikes, of course, you've seen him in the spikes, the asymmetrical vertical and asymmetrical face paint,
Silver and black.
silver and black.
Especially on the behalf of Violator. He created the very first costume that actually became an actual uniform for our team.
Yeah.
Because he made noise.
Right.
Right.
What's the point of putting all that shit
But he
on
also wasn't
if
a
you
uniform.
can't make noise?
He wasn't a uniform.
See what I'm saying?
Right, yeah.
And he goes out there, he
changed
plays
it.
the part, he becomes the
He
Violator.
changed it.
Yes.
It's like a superhero / supervillain.
See what I'm saying?
Well, as he says, he's
Inspirational.
been an ambassador for the Raiders, and he has been. And I've watched him and known him for years. He is great with the public, has always been gracious with his time, traveled every home game up from Los Angeles, Rancho Cucamonga, and come up and be a part, and taught us a lot of things about the Los Angeles, because he very much understood some of the early tensions too, of the LA-Oakland dynamic of, some of our resentments or what have you, and what we considered co-opting of our thing. But he was one of those that helped me too very much understand that they had taken on the mantra of the team too, and had really represented the team and had really put out an image of the team too that was representative outside of any other image that was truly wholesome of the fans. As a matter of fact, that's Skullman back there on the cover.
Skullman.
Raider fan who, like I said, both of them used to sit exactly where he sat in the Oakland Coliseum from all those years, the 50-yard line of the Los Angeles Coliseum. And so I am very, I'm just elated for you, man. That is hella great. Because
I'm voting.
You are
FordHallOfFans.com vote violator.
We will vote violator. Man, congratulations, Wayne. Love you, man. Raider love forever, brother.
Raider love.
Yes. I can't wait till you go in, Stone.
Yeah, eventually.
2061.
Well, they got Gorilla Villas in.
80-something years old.
Gorilla Villas in.
I'm not here. I'm a little richer than this shit. And I need to be in that motherfucker, man. Campaign for me. I promise I won't bring my politics to it.
There were some of us that did look into that too. But then
I know.
they had stopped
People
it for a
have.
while.
I'm just teasing.
No
People
more
have
Anaconda Malt liquor.
I'm just playing.
Yeah.
I'm just playing.
Hey, man, sometimes you got to put it out there.
Let me ask you, as one of the most vocal fans, a fan who had a great high profile in Oakland, and you know the importance of being in the game and bringing that energy into the game. A member of the Black Hole, sat in Section 105 with me for many years, and all of us, so you understand how much that means in the sports. This has been a crazy year, and outside of all the, politics and bullshit, and of course the medical severity of COVID-19, just in the reality of teams, like I said, allowing fans in, you being a fan who loves to see the game live, in person, how have you been affected by what are your sentiments about seeing, for the first time in history, across the board, particularly in football, fans being denied access to seeing the games?
I think it's asinine that it's become so political that they're willing to put out some fans in certain areas. Because if you're going to go that far just to try to monetize it, to me, that's kind of an impression of guinea pigging people for your own monetary.
Guinea pigging people.
You know what I mean? And so it's like, okay, you can give credence to people. Like, okay, say, for instance, Mark Davis, God bless his heart. I don't want anybody in the stadium until everybody can come together and all that stuff. That's a great thing. But what about the realistic aspect of the fact that none of this shit is actually figured out? So as we going forward, we really don't know what we're getting out of any of it.
Right.
That's true.
There's no specific game plan of where we're going with this.
We
Right.
just kind of mocking tests.
Just finding new things out
No different
every
than what
week.
they're doing with these vaccines and shit that they pushing. Like, they have no fucking idea what they're
They said they put out 20 million or whatever, but only 2 million people. Give it people the shots, whatever.
You're like, give 'em
make
out.
shit happen. Right now, everything in the world should be about what are we going to do to get back going, not sitting around twiddling our thumbs with our thumbs up our ass, going, how can we prolong this shit a little bit longer?
Yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time,
That's
especially in
That's
this
the
day and age, in
manipulation.
this society,
That's the manipulation.
when does the priority of the people change? How come the low totem people are still the guinea pigs and all the people that's monetizing?
Oh, well, they've
this shit
always been. I hear
ain't
what
gonna be
you're
the
saying.
ones that's
They always been.
experimenting. Because ain't that the way you truly rip the scab off of this sword and let people know that, okay, this shit really works?
Right.
Right.
This billionaire takes the shit and say, look, you motherfuckers, take it, damn it. We need the world back. But you're going to keep killing these fucking lab rats.
Yeah.
And telling me, okay, come on out and try this shit.
And the peasants. Yeah, and the peasants.
See what I'm saying?
Right.
And I get it to a certain extent, but I'm not on that side
Well,
of
you're
that
going to
track.
get it.
So
So overall, you think it's been, kind of a catch-22 with letting fans in and what have you?
literally,
Yeah.
because I'm really...
What would you do in this situation? Or, you're not as active as you were attending games, but...
I probably would have just stayed away. I mean, like...
Nah, motherfucker, me and you would have climbed the fucking fence.
You know how we got
All right,
here.
we jump over that motherfucker.
But I'm saying-
and we done ran in there and made a political statement.
And with the
all
shit that was
right,
going on in the
for the
field,
fan power
fucking
movement.
wall
The
this
fan power movement. Okay, that's what we would have
Dixon
done.
and Jackson would have
Just
to
like
confine us again.
Yeah.
But the truth of the matter is, honestly, though, because there is no actual knowledge of what's going on, I don't think we're going to find out anything until this next season starts.
Yeah, that's true.
Because all of the other sports in some way or other have found a way to kind of play into the bubble aspect of the way things operate.
Right.
And they haven't combed through that aspect for NFL.
Right.
Right.
They're not even really dabbling with it. They're just trying to pretend like everything's fine, but then they're still keeping people away. So that keeps me leery.
Yeah.
I'm going to go and support my team.
Yeah.
But especially the way the motherfuckers was playing out there on the field, how many times you gonna go risk your life?
Oh yeah, I mean here in Las Vegas, man, yeah, especially at the tune of $150 to $200 a ticket, the whole PSL shit, all of that. It's like, yeah, that all comes into a factor if I'm not going to see a winning product.
See what I'm saying?
Depending on what happens next year, like you said, how they're going to do it. I just hope something definitive and divine, something divine happens. That
the clouds part,
declares
the
us
come in,
free of this.
God saves the day.
And it'll just come down to, do we want to trust each other in each other's space again, up close and personal like we have lived, at least for my life, 54 years. So
Raider fan,
that's what I'm praying for.
I mean, it's the information age, so get the information. Go out and look at what it takes to keep your immune system strong. I've said this before. Try to be as healthy as you can. You're not going to avoid any of these viruses or bacterias, so you got to put yourself in the position to fight it when you come in contact with it. And then I think you should sign a waiver. Look, there's too much money that's been missed this year between the NFL, our jobs, our businesses have suffered greatly behind this, and it's not worth it. Sign a waiver if you want to go into the stadium and go in. I mean, sorry, but that's what you're going to have to do. And in the meantime, keep yourself as healthy as possible to fight off any opportunistic infection. We learned this in the 80s with AIDS.
Dr. Black Hole
I got a
Stef.
question though. Considering that this literally turned to pandemic level
Plandemic.
Plandemic, that's great. Why wasn't there an inference on having like personal respiratory systems? What the fuck is it with these masks? You know what I mean? It's like people not even washing their fucking masks. How many times you put this shit on your face? And
They're doing this and they're moving
but
around.
but think about this. It's every
Picking their
single
nose.
we all decided to get back going, right?
There's no
And everybody else
cleanliness out there.
This is vacation. It's fucking Christmas
People
time.
are
Everybody coming to
spending
Vegas
dough anyway.
and spending big time dough. Can't none of these motherfuckers buy a personal respirator system? And that way you can be in the game right next to each other if that's what the fuck.
Well, you want everybody to wear a fucking
How serious
Black
is it?
Manta?
He's got to design it. You got to have a Raider Man mask system.
I'm thinking about Aquaman's villain, Black Manta. He's got the helmet with the tubes.
Yeah.
The big goggles. Watching the game.
Looking like
Is that what we're doing? Yeah.
But real talk. I mean, like
Deep sea diving suits.
do something
Hazmat suits.
Hazmat.
Do something specific. You put all this money, and I'm specifically talking to us. Right now, we in a spending cycle with the stadium. Do
Right.
something revolutionary to show just how serious you are about getting this fucking economy back going.
Right.
At every single seat location, install a personal respiratory system, like a plane.
An oxygen
Put the motherfucker on your face.
With the tubes.
There's fresh oxygen.
Well,
going
again,
into the mask.
also you got these rapid tests. So
$5
you
test.
could have.
They're like pregnancy tests.
You could have fans.
You piss on it, it tells you if
You
you're
could have fans come down Saturday,
Right.
get tested.
Right.
If they're cleared, they get a stamp or they get a ticket.
No, you don't want a stamp.
You can get a TB test. You don't want a stamp. You don't want a stamp. You get a ticket though that tells you that you were cleared. That you were cleared yesterday.
Right.
And so that all the fans that do come in, or how early you can do it on the day of the
But they
game.
do it like the clubs where you lick the stamp and you rub it.
That's not COVID safe.
COVID transfer.
Yeah,
Hand sanitizer.
of course I got my
Hand
stamp.
sanitizer stat.
Well, we hope next year it will be greater. This season has officially ended for the Las Vegas Raiders, and for the bad, the good, the indifferent, the win, lose, or tie, they are officially here. The future is being built for the Las Vegas Raiders. We will be here for it. We'll be here with you. This is not our last show, but officially it's our last regular season show. We thank you all.
The big show will be the big round table.
The big round
Raider
table.
Fan Radio round table show.
Right.
And we'll do our full season wrap up with some
Right.
Raider fans.
We'll have some Raider fans.
And get as
Well,
much opinions about it and think about how are we going to take this off season in COVID and go into the future
Right.
and get ready for the stadium.
Right.
Hoping and assuming that we will have fans and something will be figured out one way or the other.
Right. To the fans of the Denver Broncos, as your nemesis, as the villains in your life, I've hated you for many years.
Raider Fan Radio exclusive.
There was one player I did admire back in my youth and whose story I knew away from the game. And then in my later years, God would have it that we would be here in Las Vegas and I would have a chance to know the man and meet him and be able to consider him a part of the community that I live in and almost a neighbor. And that is the great Floyd Little. And as I had mentioned a few weeks here on the show, he had been entered into hospice care at the age of 78, suffering from a form of cancer, and unfortunately early yesterday he passed away.
So you would see Floyd Little hanging out, grocery stores just hanging around town here in Vegas, the local
Vaughn's up on Pecos and Windmill. He lived in that area in one of the legacy complexes and whatever.
What kind of world is it when now you got Raider Rob walking the streets of Vegas, hanging out, talking to Floyd?
Well, when I first recognized him was at a Big Lots.
Oh, the Big Lot.
He was in Big Lot.
Floyd Little was in Big Lot.
And I recognized
What did you get in Big Lot?
Huh?
What did you get in Big Lot?
Some of the headphones for $5 and they got and they got some nice little like exotic snacks. You know what I'm saying?
You would like that, Stone.
Yeah, Nigerian. You ain't lived until you had Nigerian Doritos. Some motherfucking Africans putting cheese on some potato chips. You have not lived. Okay, but that's where I first met him. We'll have the picture up here of me and Floyd Little, but the first time I met him, we had an almost 2-hour conversation. It's talking about football, life, everything. He gave me some pointers about being in Vegas and what I was doing and what have you. And like I said on the show, when I finally realized it was him and approached him in the store, I said, "Sir, I think I know who you are." And he countered, "I know who you are too. I see you around." And he knew who I was, just from being in the neighborhood and community. So our condolences go out to the Little family, his wife and his family here in Las Vegas. His grandson Blaze, and also the Denver Bronco family and his Denver family too. Just a good man, righteous man. Did a lot for charity and public speaking and was an inspirational man who had a background himself that was kind of tough coming up in the 50s and what have you, and was able to overcome some of his obstacles and really be a pillar of the Denver community, but be a great ambassador for the NFL. I know what we talked about, and I just thank you for some of the words you said to me that day. And God bless you. God bless you, Mr. Little. And God bless the Denver Broncos. But, that's what's up with him. Also.
But he still hates the Broncos. He still hates the
team.
fans.
Yeah, I don't hate Floyd, no. Before we get out of here, Stone fan-controlled football. What do you know about it? What do you think about it?
Zero.
Fan control. We're going to get the power. I've been promising you this for years. We're going to get the power.
Is that what it's called?
Fan-controlled
football. Is it a brand?
Fan-controlled football. It's a new brand of football that is coming out.
A new brand of
football being introduced. It will be introduced this year. It's 7-on-7 football. Okay?
7-on-7. Now, is it real players playing football?
A 2, a 3, a 4. Yeah. That's Lawrence Welk. Google it, kids. But yes, it's live football, 7-on-7. Right. Kind of something hybrid between real football and arena football.
Pads, everything.
Something like that. They haven't worked all the bugs out yet.
Some, lesser football.
They haven't worked all the bugs out yet, but it's going to be something like that. Anyway, what's going to make it fan-controlled football is it's almost, and we were talking to Raider Man off camera before we were coming on, and when I was telling him about it, he said it's like Madden. Like fan Madden. Like you'll be able to control a game and shit. It's like, yes, we will. We'll be able to control.
Pretty soon it'll be mind control football.
7-on-7 football. Fans will be able to have input on plays. Okay, from home.
What?
They'll be able to shoot plays.
Wait a minute. The players are on the field.
The players are on the field.
They're basically hired actors, and then you call in the plays, and they go execute the plays. So my question sounds like a lawsuit if you ask me.
There ain't no lawsuit. And then also, fans will be able to have input
Or
on
liability, that's the word.
They'll have some input on some of the coaching, okay, and they'll also be able to have input on picking the players for the individual teams. And right now, there is one former professional player and a star of college football just under 10 years ago, Johnny Manziel, is coming back out of retirement. Johnny Football is right now the face of what is going to be called fan-controlled football, the FCF.
Wow, I'm impressed. That's what rich chicks do.
On the logo.
Johnny Manziel, that's who she wanted all years back.
I like Johnny Manziel.
Well, first of all, you know we all love Madden. We love playing any game we can that's football related. We used to play dice football all the time over at the Fan Banner. Anything that's football, it's a game. So yeah, obviously if you put players on the field and give us a chance as the fan to interact with it like a video game, make choices, decisions. I'm curious how much influence they'll have, but it sounds intriguing. I'd be in on it. We could all go on a team together.
I gotta see this.
We could all run a team.
I gotta see this fleshed out in real time, though. Okay, so here I am thinking I'm Mr. GM and I'm running my team. Okay?
Exactly.
So I'm on offense and I'm running streaks. And so the guy on defense, what if he covers like he calls some little shitty coverage? Are the DBs gonna run back and just like cover the curl?
Play the shitty. That's what I meant. That's the liability.
The game and the apparatus of running the game is still going to be in the hands of the coaches and personnel.
Okay.
It's just that fans will have a portal where they can be interactive with the game, and that's going to be accepted.
Gotcha.
So it may be each series or each other series of possession we call two-fan plays.
Right.
And it may be that by such and such a time you have to get in or whatever, or you'll be allowed in based on whatever parameter. And so you three are the guys that will be calling plays for the team today.
You know, like
something like that.
Like our love connection.
Love connection.
Like our love connection.
Two and two. Be back at 2 and 2.
Right back,
And you pick that couple, that's the best way I can see it happening.
My first impression was thinking like that old school metal board football, electric football.
Doing their own thing. Like, remember.
Look, mine is moving.
Put the pin in the bottom. Make it go that way.
Remember, Madden did do and tried to do a coach version.
Yeah.
Where it was just you as a coach.
That's what I was kind
That
of.
was good.
Oh no, we used to do that.
Yeah.
We used to play that. Yeah.
So this is bringing it into real life where physical fans will be able to be a part of it. And be able to really be interactive with the game.
It's interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Does this league, have they expanded enough to where we actually have team names?
Not yet. All that has not been finalized yet. They've just introduced the concept and have announced that Johnny Manziel, former Johnny Football, Johnny Drunk in Las Vegas, all of that, former Cleveland Brown, the first Baker Mayfield. Because the Baker Mayfield reminds me of Johnny Mayfield.
He's completely.
Of Johnny Manziel.
Much better version.
Just a much better version. But he has that cockiness, that I don't give a fuck attitude.
That falls
Kind of
short
snotty.
And the Cleveland Browns are in
Spring
the
break cocksucker.
right now.
Playoffs!
Playoffs?
Okay, so yes, the answer
Playoffs?
is yes.
You kidding me? Playoffs?
I will be able to wait. I'm putting this together. I'm thinking about a whole big promotion campaign now. Okay, I'm thinking about us.
Yes.
Thinking about us.
Think about us.
We will promote and have a sponsor, the Fan Control Football League.
Right.
We'll get it with KFC with the console that has the warmer we talked about last week.
Right.
Okay. So we got a console. We got the
console with chicken in it.
With chicken. All right. We're pimping it on there. And we're controlling.
We're on our cell phones calling plays.
And we're controlling Johnny Manziel.
Watermelon.
I'm with it.
Yeah.
I'm with it. Hey, guess what? You know who might end up in that league? Derek Carr. Got you. Hey, it's been a pleasure being here with y'all all year. We thank you so much for your support. We are unbreakable. We are back. We are the original. We are not the pretenders, but the defenders of the shield of the Raider Nation. I'm Raider Rock. That's Beautiful Black Hole Stef. That is StonerDude. Tonight we've been joined by Raider Man. All right, and that's how we bring it. We are defenders of the Raider universe. We are the first voice, the real voice, the true voice. and the voice of the silver and black when it comes to the originals and Raider talk. We are Raider Fan Radio, all right? The internet's number one, world's number one, sports, entertainment, internet radio talk show, all right? And if you don't like it, go tell your mama about it, because we don't care about your mama or you, all right? We will see you soon with another episode of the Roundtable Breakdown with some other fans. But until then, thank you for all you internationally, nationally, all you subscribers, all of you worldwide, all of you. We want to thank you for being a part of what we do, for believing in what we do, but more importantly, believing in your Raider fandom, believing in your Raider fanship, and sticking and stand because the game ain't over, the truth is coming, and the Raiders will rise again. As Al Davis said, the greatness of the Raiders is in its future. We are there now. Later, Raider.
Make sure you tell your mama to contact us. Email us here anytime at RaiderFanRadio@gmail.com. You can like, you can subscribe, you can give us any comments you want at the bottom of the screen, and share us, of course. And until then, of course, we will see you next time. That's show number 15. We'll have him back at show number 19, but we'll see you at show number 15. Later, Raider.
See what I'm looking at you.
The views and opinions of RaiderFanRadio.Vegas, RaiderFanRadio.com, and Raider Fan Radio Media are not the views and opinions of the Las Vegas Raiders, Al Davis Football, Inc., or the National Football League. RaiderFanRadio.Vegas is an independent media source.